So we're back on this project in Shawford, just south of Winchester, kind of around maybe a year and a bit from when I first come here.
Yeah,
Joe?
I think so, yeah.
Maybe it was like late spring, was it, last year?
Yeah, it was, yeah, just before the winter sort of fully got going, yeah.
And actually this is the first time I've come back here since then. And that day, you know, there was, you were deep in construction. There was a lot of stuff half built and
there was, yeah,
built.
Nothing was finished at that point, yeah. So
and to come here and see this, it's beautiful, man.
Thank you, mate. Yeah,
you've done an impeccable job. I love it.
Thank you.
I must admit, when people go for like a really light paving and a dark contrasting paver, I'm always a bit like, oh, I wonder how that will look, and they've really pulled it off here. Yeah,
it's great. I think Joe Savage has done a really good job with not just the materials choices, but the way it's like planted, and the core 10 steel that's used everywhere. It just sort of like breaks it up a bit. And like the client's done an amazing job choosing the furniture. They've not gone like, you know, too crazy. It's very like subtle, and all sort of like ties in with each other. It works really well.
Yeah, and I mean, because of like the dark accent pieces in the house, the pergola, with the furniture being like a shade of grey, that dark paver with the lighter slab just all like ties it together, like you said, with the bits of core 10 and the planting to soften it up, just works beautifully.
Yeah, it all works really well, yeah.
So when we were last here, we were talking about how, if you watch one of the previous videos on our channel, we actually discussed on this project how a lot of people don't perhaps value landscaping enough when they're building a garden, and think of it as maybe not adding value to their house like they would do, maybe a bathroom or a kitchen.
Yeah, we touched last time on like the average price of you know, getting like a single story extension done, for example, is like £1,600 a square metre, which is, you know, a lot of money, whereas the average price for landscaping in the UK is around £365 a square metre. And you look at what, from a landscaper's point of view, you look at what, you know, you're expected to supply for that amount of money is you know, it's quite high. And then, you know, generally, you know, you couple that with, at the end of, you know, someone's renovating the inside of their house or an extension or any sort of building work, the garden is always the last thing to be done. So sometimes the pot is, you know, running a bit dry.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with this story.
Yeah, and like, but we touched on it before, like the importance of garden design. That is where it's good to, you know, instruct a designer, because they will know for your budget, like how best to use it. You know, as big or small as that may be, they'll know like the right materials, the right layout. You know, whether you need more planting to accommodate like a slightly smaller budget, you know, what fixtures and fittings to get, and it helps you visualize the garden too. Like, I mean, I think for this garden, it looks really like the visuals. Yeah,
I mean, like Joe's like does a lot of the 3D video. I think that really helps with like people that are unsure.
And from a construction point of view as well, it's also really good to see the job from different angles, because generally you get like a 2D plan and maybe a concept drawing, but the concept drawing could be like quite vague. But the 2D plan, you know, it shows you like steps and walls and stuff. But when you're like building them, it can look very different 3D to 2D. So when you've got that 3D visual, it really helps you like get everything bang on and set out like exactly how, you know, it should be.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I've talked about in some of the other videos, and I try and encourage people that even if your budget's relatively modest, I think consulting a garden designer and being open about your budget early, it doesn't hinder you. I think people think that they'll like, you know, have people take the mick out of them because they've said, I've got 40 grand to spend, and then they'll give you a 20 grand job for 40 grand. I mean, if you're dealing with people that are respectable and like trusted in the industry, they will not do that.
No, and from our point of view, it's important to work to someone's budget. Like if you tell us that your budget is X amount, and we come in around that amount, and then you all of a sudden say, oh no, well actually it's half that. That's a lot of time spent, from the designer and the landscaper's point of view that we have to then redo stuff. Whereas we're all adults, aren't we? We can talk about budget.
Totally, yeah. To get away from this British not speaking about figures stuff. Yeah.
And it helps massively, having that honest conversation initially, because then everyone knows where they stand.
Well, we have it with selling the materials. Like one of the first things us as a team sort of do is say like, what kind of look are you going for, and what kind of money are you expected to spend? And it's purely because we could waste loads of time showing you some stuff that you don't want or you can't afford or it's not in the budget, and it's kind of wasted. It's like let's look at stuff that we can do and focus on that.
Exactly, no, it's important, very important.
And thinking about your 2D versus 3D thing, like a couple of little bits of detail on this job that I absolutely love, which I think with a 3D visual, you can see how they're going to be put together.
Yes.
Are things like steps and your little cobbled interlocking.
Yeah, so like the wraparound detail was on the design, and as a company, we really pride ourselves, and when we've got visuals, we like to really make sure that the job looks like the visual, as much. Sometimes it, some things just aren't physically possible, unfortunately, but it is very important when those visuals are provided that we, do our absolute best to get things exactly how they are on the visual. Yeah, and
I love these, on the piece that has the sort of step that has the pergola, the raised patch there, the mitered pieces. Yeah. You've got our Exbury white tiles flowing down. So it looks it's just a solid block.
Little details like that, and we have touched about this on previous videos we've done. That doesn't take that much longer to do that because you're already having to cut two pieces anyway. So to put a 45 on it and add the resin takes a little bit longer than if you were to just butt them up. But then it kind of doesn't, because if you had a straight joint there, you'd have to grout it anyway.
Yeah, so, exactly. Yeah.
Totally. Little things like that, I think they just improve the visual of the job tenfold.
Getting back to the sort of spending money on your garden thing, I know we're biased, we work in the garden profession, but we've been lucky this year by having a really nice summer so far. Yeah. But the clients have said that they literally spend more time out here than they do inside.
And that's a common theme on a lot of projects for us, is that they didn't use the garden that much before because there was just some patio and a grass out here.
It was very bare bones, wasn't it?
Yeah, literally. It's a common story with houses that are built by a developer or small new build sites, is that all the budget goes inside and then the garden is just usable.
It's an afterthought, really, most of the time,
it's just made usable for the client, which is fine. But since they've had the work done and they've got the pergola, which is all you can shut all the sides and it's weatherproof.
Yeah, those glass doors.
And you've got the outdoor kitchen and the barbecue all in one area. They're out here all the time, and that's what we want. We don't want to build gardens and then people just not use them. We want them to be functional.
And that's that does tie back into the design, because if you design a garden well, you're going to have more use for it.
Exactly.
No, they've got a lovely sitting area there that's out of the weather if it needs to be, and obviously that beautiful outdoor kitchen setup. This loungy space here.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's really cool. And with the big doors, I bet they kind of float in and out of the house.
This is quite a unique project in that the driveway is to the side of the house rather than in front. So you've got two gardens. You've got like this garden, which is the sort of more entertaining garden, and then you've got like almost a courtyard garden at the back. And it's quite nice when the doors are open. You can literally see like straight through into the other one.
Yeah,
so you almost get like a it's quite scenic. I don't know how best to describe
almost
it.
Almost like two bits of art, you know, like two like photos
in the back there was another these guys will see on the video, but there's like a corner of the garage with a room in where we actually use some of your matching internal tiles to these.
Oh yeah, you had the Exbury white internal off.
So there was two doors there. Like weirdly, there was just two sets of doors like right next to each other. So we actually, for the brickwork in the back garden, we got matching bricks to the house. So we bricked up that door and turned that area into like a dog grooming area for the dog.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And a bit more like storage in there. You know, just keep it neat and tidy.
Very cool.
But yeah, that area is nice because our clients have said that they quite often have like their morning coffee out there and stuff. And
it almost feels like, because it's a bit smaller, and it's more like tucked in, and it's a bit more secluded.
A bit more like a courtyard sort of.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
really like,
definitely courtyard vibes.
And again, that's you know, intentional by Joe Savage. Is you know, that area is supposed to be a different area. It's not supposed to be a continuation of this. It's supposed to be like a separate.
And I noticed
garden.
out there, it's really just the brickwork and the tiles, so no like, cobbles.
No cobbles.
And there's no Corten around there either.
No, so that from Joe, that's completely intentional for this space to be more like for guests to come and, you know, for everyone to socialise, and that area to be more sort of private and, you know, just for the clients, which, you know, I think is really nice.
I mean, one of the things I wanted to speak to you about from like our side of things on this project was the fact that you've used the FlowPoint fine natural grey as the lighter FlowPoint, and obviously we've got the Windsor Pavers, the darkest pavers that we do here. And I know that a lot of people struggle with efflorescence on FlowPoint. So it's like this white haze salts that come out of the grout and like the mortar as it's drying, and on a dark like tile or dark paver, it can be really obvious and like, a bit unsightly, really. And you've got virtually none here.
So I found over time using FlowPoint, the way that you'll see it most online is people will, for one, knock it up far too wet. So like when we grout this in the winter, I think on FlowPoint it's like 4.2 litres of water you're supposed to use. Like we'll use 4. Because
factoring in that like wet climate vibe.
And not only that, but like there's just the temperature and the washing. If you do the maximum amount of water, especially if it's like below 10 degrees, between 5 and 10 degrees, like you'll just be waiting all day for it to go off. And then the way a lot of people do it, you see on social media, is they'll just jet wash it off. But all you're doing is one, you sort of take the finish off the top, so it becomes really like granular. And two, you know, especially on pavers, like, yes, everything's got a fall and, you know, it all falls away, it doesn't puddle, but the surface of them is quite riven. So you will get little pockets of water, like, sitting on individual pavers. And when you've, like, washed the cement off the top with a jet wash, or even using a wash boy with too much water, you know, not cleaning the sponge out properly, you will get efflorescence. And on natural stone, it is a real pain to get off.
Yeah, and like I said, the darker the stone as well. Like lighter stones, you sort of get away with it.
Yeah,
you don't
can
notice it. And dark stones, you really see it because it's that white hazy sort of salt.
I mean, our way of doing it is slower than doing it with a wash boy in terms of the installation, but it's quicker in the sense that you don't have to clean it again. You know, you can just we normally do things as teams of 3 or 2, so we don't knock up a huge amount at a time. It's one bag at a time. We clean it off. And also it's very important to note with FlowPoint is that if you're using wash boys, is to clean the water out after every bag. And it's a pain because normally you're right at the end of the job, you might not have anywhere to put the water, the dirty water. But generally there's somewhere you can tip it. Definitely not down the drain. It's not the right place for it. But like generally you'll have like a skip, or you know, you can if you tip the water into a ton bag, all of the like sediment stays in the ton bag.
So it filters. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good little tip.
And then, yeah, just doing that, you'll find that it, in the long run, it speeds it up. Inevitably, I mean, yeah, grout pavers, you know, they are fiddly to do, and so's FlowPoint, but it you know, it does pay off.
I think you like sort of knocked on the head with just saying like you kind of be slow with that first job to actually be fast overall.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're not going to end up having the customer wake up in the morning and say, oh God, like, what's happened to the pavers? Like, and then having to like clean it 3 or 4 times
that's
to
something
get the efflorescence
that
out.
when we were doing these pavers, Dan from Marvel Paving and Pat from Harbour Landscapes, they both helped with these. And they
shout outs to
Dan
shout
outs. Yeah, they were and they helped with the grouting as well. Like, and we're all of the same opinion. Like, definitely sometimes less is more. Like, if you rush to get it in, and then there's like footprints on it and like haze, like FlowPoint, the product it is, it's really difficult. It's a really durable product. So if you have any of it left on the paving, even if it's a tiny bit, it's going to be really hard to get off. The fact you've gone for the lighter FlowPoint on those pavers is really nice, because I think it helps like pull the darker material towards the lighter material and tie in with like the house definitely. Yeah, so like generally we do try and stick to the lighter FlowPoints, just because I think it's nice to have that contrast. And it does, and the color of the FlowPoint actually ties in, you know, with the color of the tiles, and the colours you can't see on the camera, but behind the garden there's like some larch patterns, and it's sort of that sort of, you know, beigey textures all sort of tie in with each other.
Yeah, quite a similar
whereas
colour tone.
if it was charcoal, I think you'd lose the effect of the pavers.
The pavers would totally like blend in.
Yeah, it would sort of just like look like a black strip.
It.
It wouldn't like, you wouldn't be drawn to it, I don't think.
And this colour FlowPoint has got like proper sand and cement sort of vibes for me.
Yeah,
so it does look a bit more like traditional
and
pointing.
It's a brick house, so it, like the colour, like the colours all sort of work together, which is what we wanted. Yeah.
We're seeing more of a trend towards limestones and natural stones in the last like kind of couple of years. But it is nice to see. We sold loads of these like around like the end of COVID. Everyone was going porcelain, and I haven't seen a job with this tile for a while, and it's nice to see it because it's it is a lovely tile. I
mean, we touched earlier on the little room we've done inside. You know, the advantage is with these tiles is you can get that real you know, if you wanted to have that real inside outside flow,
nice continuity.
You can get exactly the same batch numbers of internal as you can for external. So you could, if you wanted to, have, you know, here it's threshold, you know, access to the house, so you could have that continuity flowing through if you wanted to.
Yeah, it's inside out would have been totally possible.
And it's, you know, with porcelain, it's a precise product, so you know, it suits this sort of modern style of garden. You know, nice clean lines, everything's the same size and very uniform in colour. Whereas the beauty of natural stone is that you do get those differences in colour, and like, you know, slightly irregular sizes, and the edges all tumble slightly differently, but that wouldn't necessarily suit the type of garden that, you know, you're building. So.
Yeah, and that's not for everyone, is it? Like we do get a lot of people that are very like they've got a very sort of finite vision of what they want to create, and it's like no, I can't have like colour variation or like corner variation. I want it to be how it needs to be. And obviously this is quite a modern contemporary garden, so I think it suits like this kind of tile.
Yeah, and like I say, it's the colours were chosen, you know, by our client popped down to your yard. They looked around, you know, some of the tiles, and this is the one they went for. And
they actually bought some of their like furnishing choices
they did,
with
and
them,
that is
because they were thinking, how's this all going to work?
It was quite good at the same time as doing this. A company called Through the Looking Glass, they're an interior design company. They were doing the inside, so our client had all of the colour swatches and things from the inside, and I think that's what she took down to you.
Yeah, I remember.
To sort of tie in, because, you know, even though the garden is separate to the inside, you know, they're still going to be walking back and forward, so it has all got to work together.
These huge sliding doors
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So like the garden becomes part of the
Exactly
space,
that.
doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. So it's got to all work together. These tiles are great. We've used the Exbury range, I don't know, maybe on like 10 projects.
Yeah, you
like,
use it a lot, haven't you?
they're really good. You've got that nice like tumbled edge. And anyone who lays a lot of porcelain, if there's landscapers, you know, watching this, you'll know that with some of the sort of lower cost porcelain, there's only like 6 patterns on the tile. And it's really easy to like lay like 2 or, if you're not paying attention, to lay like 2 or 3, together, and it's like really obvious when you stand back.
Yeah,
whereas,
well,
like,
when you're looking from like above in a bedroom or something.
Whereas these, because I think on these, I mean, we've counted before, there's like 14 or 15.
Yeah, like to be honest, like
different.
It's bad, but I can't remember how many there are.
Yeah.
I think there's more than a dozen. Yeah, there's more than a dozen variations.
And they're
on the
really.
tile.
They're a really nice subtle pattern as well, so they're not too like in your face, but because there's so many different like variations of the pattern, it's like you get a real like spread.
And when you look around, nice. you immediately don't really spot any repeats.
No, yeah, and
like you have to look quite hard to start seeing the repeats.
It doesn't look too much. It doesn't look not too much like porcelain, but it doesn't look too fake. If you know what I mean?
It's more that natural vibe.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I mean, like just to touch on like some work of Joe's is I really love the plants here. Like that lovely olive tree. And got, like around the courtyard there was tons of bees when I first arrived.
Yeah, it's really the olive tree was so Joe took the clients down to a place called Folium and Floss in Sway.
Yeah, no, guys. Yeah, they supplied our olive trees.
Yeah, so they actually went down and picked that olive tree like specifically for here.
It's a lovely thing to do, to be honest, isn't it? Like when we did the same when we were like doing the displays. You walk through, they've got this big like sort of olive grove avenues thing, and you have a look around, loads of different sizes and heights and like roundnesses.
And it's funny you say about your yard. I was just about to bring it up, but that's the good thing about having, you know, your display area all planted up like that with all the different materials laid out, is that people can come and they can actually like properly see what these things look like with plants, because quite often when you go to, you know, like a builder's merchant, they'll have like a display area, but it's just like tiny little like patches of 2 or 3 slabs all like laid in amongst each other with like decking, artificial grass, all this like other stuff that you don't want, like all mixed in. It just like doesn't really, you can't really get a sense of like, okay, is this like a garden, like is this what it would look like? Whereas like your yard's got, you know, it's got like the pergola similar to that. It's got like a little like water bowl, water feature, loads of other like things in there that you would have in your garden that are built in your yard. It's like really, really handy. Yeah,
and I appreciate you saying that. But it's weird because we've had a lot of compliments on it specifically this year from like mostly retail customers, and a lot of them it surprised me, but they've said that they've been to a few other places and exactly what you said, like there's nowhere that has it in display more like a garden with like some plants, pergola, a bench, you know, different things that you would have in your garden. I mean, it just helps people visualize. I mean, we've even got, obviously we share our space with New Forest Fencing, and we've got their fencing as the backdrop. I mean, most gardens are going to have some fencing, so that helps as well. People can kind of compare how and then start to visualize, because I mean, this is why the garden designs are good, because like you said, people struggle to visualize.
Exactly.
Well, Joe, thank you very much for your time, and thanks to the lovely clients and owners of this house for letting us come and film. Because it's a lovely garden and it's nice to be able to show it off. So definitely
really proud of this one.
You should be, mate. You should be really proud, because it's lovely.
Everyone,
it's a beautiful feel.
Everyone works hard here. We had, you know, long list of subcontractors, Dan and Pat, landscapers from Marvel Paving and Harbour Landscapes. We've had Winchester Outdoor Kitchens, Armex Electrical Services here. We've had loads. It's been great. Real team effort. Yeah, and I know you were thinking of, I probably might be speaking out of term because you might not want it on the video, but you're thinking of like releasing and submitting this into a competition. Yeah, so I think you should. Yeah, I think we're going to enter it into a couple of awards. You know, just because I think it's, you know, it's a very photogenic job, and yeah, I'm really proud of it. So
yeah,
I know the guys who did it with us, who worked for me, Harry and Josh. You know, and it's, even though they're, you know, it's not their company or whatever, like they really enjoyed coming here and like doing it, because it's like such a, you know, nice materials to work with and stuff like that.
And you've got a lot of different things going on in the same job, haven't you? Like you had brickwork down there, you've got like pavers, you've got tiles.
It was really interesting to do.
Like water feature installations, the pergola. Yeah, there's all sorts of mad stuff going on here. But yeah, well done, mate. And I'm looking forward to seeing some more of your stuff soon.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, dude. Thanks a lot.